What if the worst nuclear disaster in history happened not because of a natural catastrophe, but a fatal combination of human error and design flaws? Imagine the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant, a marvel of modern technology, built with a purpose to fuel the growing energy demands of the Soviet Union. The community around it buzzing with life, oblivious to the lurking dangers. Nuclear power, once seen as the beacon of the future, now held an ominous presence. Little did they know, a catastrophic event was waiting to unfold. On the fateful night of April 26, 1986, a routine safety test turned into a nightmare. What was intended as a simple procedure to test the reactor's cooling system under low power conditions quickly spiraled out of control. The test was designed to determine if the turbine could produce enough energy to keep the coolant pumps running in the event of a loss of power. However, due to a combination of design flaws and operator errors, the test was far from routine. The reactor was dangerously unstable at low power, a fact not fully understood by the technicians on duty that night. As they struggled to maintain control, a sudden power surge caused the reactor to overheat. In a desperate attempt to shut down the reactor, the technicians initiated an emergency shutdown, inserting all control rods at once. But this only made matters worse. Due to a fatal design flaw, the first few seconds of rod insertion actually increased the reaction rate, leading to an uncontrollable power surge. The intense heat caused steam explosions that blew the roof off the reactor, exposing the core to the outside world. A second explosion, likely caused by a buildup of hydrogen, followed shortly after, spreading radioactive material into the atmosphere. In the blink of an eye, the world's worst nuclear disaster had begun. As the radioactive smoke billowed into the night sky, the true scale of the disaster began to emerge. The immediate aftermath of the Chernobyl explosion was a chaotic scramble to contain the rampant radiation. Firefighters, unaware of the invisible enemy they were fighting, were the first to respond. Unprotected, they paid a heavy toll, many succumbing to acute radiation sickness. Simultaneously, the task of evacuating the nearby city of Pripyat was underway. Initially informed of a temporary evacuation, the residents left their homes with few belongings, unaware they would never return. The ghostly echo of their lives resonates in the abandoned city to this day. The health effects on these first responders and the local population were devastating. Thousands suffered from acute radiation sickness, while countless others would later develop cancer and other radiation-induced illnesses. The true number of victims remains a source of debate, but the human cost is indisputable. The Soviet government, initially slow to acknowledge the disaster, eventually launched an extensive cleanup operation. Tens of thousands of people, known as liquidators, were brought in to decontaminate and encase the ruined reactor in a concrete sarcophagus, a task that came with its own considerable risks. The world watched in horror as the full scale of the disaster became clear. Though the immediate crisis was eventually contained, the fallout from Chernobyl continues to cast a long and haunting shadow. Over 30 years have passed since the Chernobyl disaster, but its legacy is far from forgotten. The fallout of this catastrophic event has left deep imprints, both on the people who lived through it and the environment that bore its brunt. In the wake of the disaster, countless individuals faced severe health complications, including a significant upsurge in thyroid cancer cases, particularly among children. Many of these health problems persist today, serving as a stark testament to the long-lasting effects of radiation exposure. The environment, too, wasn't spared. The once bustling city of Pripyat, located near the Chernobyl site, is now a ghost town. The surrounding area, known as the exclusion zone, spans over 1,000 square miles and remains largely uninhabited due to high radiation levels. Yet amidst the desolation, nature has shown remarkable resilience. The exclusion zone has become an unlikely refuge for wildlife, with species like wolves, deer, and even endangered Przewalski's horses making a comeback. The Chernobyl site itself has undergone significant changes. The damaged reactor is now encased in a massive steel sarcophagus, a silent sentinel guarding against further radiation leaks. The people affected by the disaster have shown incredible fortitude. Some have returned to live in the less contaminated areas, while others have moved on, their lives forever marked by the event. The Chernobyl disaster serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers of nuclear power when not handled with the utmost care.